Hey up everybody and welcome back. Alright, well hopefully this next episode will be a little less fraught than the last few. Don't know what's been going on, but I've actually been out in the workshop a little while already and I've been experimenting pardon me, with TIG settings because I had a lot of trouble, particularly up here. This is all brand new metal stock. And a couple of places I just could not get it clean, and when you're TIG welding alloy, if you can't get the puddle of molten metal really clean so it's nice and shiny, then all sorts of unfortunate things happen. And this would have black dots in it and it wouldn't flow and it wouldn't sort of wet out. It was driving me mad. I got it all done, it's all shaped, and we're going to do the other side today. Let's see, welding that in upside down was just the last straw last week because I got it and I thought, okay Michael, which way does this go? It's because of this thing here, this sort of dog leg in it, and I looked and I said, no, that's that way, so this goes in like that. Welded it all in, and then of course when I offered it up to this, I thought, my God, I've put it on the wrong way up. So that's when I decided enough was enough. So we're going to press on with this. I think I mentioned I've got the screws to put the timing chest on, so we might just take a break from this, do the other side and then take a little break from it. I'm not going to show you the other side much because it's just a duplicate of doing this side. Lap in that oil pump and get the timing chest finished. Still haven't got the spring for the gearbox, so I'm going to have to wait for that. Alright. So before we get started, I have a friend up in Canada, a Brit. There goes a lorry. Freezing cold this morning. In fact, freezing rain. It was like an ice rink when I came out. So as I said, I have a friend up in Canada, actually, who owns that 350 Tribsa that's in the credits. And I just wanted to, he's watched me all the way through. I just wanted to say hello to Bob because he's not feeling too well at the moment. In fact, that's an understatement. But all the best for Bob, because you see, Bob spent his entire life with a huge impediment. He was born in the south of England. I mean, I don't know how people live with that, but there you go. I suppose somebody has to be born down there. Anyway, good luck, chin up Bob, and we're all thinking of you. Alright, so let's make a cardboard template, cut some alloy and see if we can weld it together. So I've made a template for this side based on the other side because I want it to be symmetrical for when we make the top. So as with the other side, it's got this piece, it's got a step, and then it goes like that. So that's going to go on there just like thus. Alright. Now, in order to get, as you can see, look, I already marked the hole in the wrong place by measurement. So what I've done is I've made this pointy bolt. It's 3/4 of an inch tall. So when I cut this piece of alloy out and bend it, what I'm going to do is offer it up, put it to there, and then tap it, and that will make a mark on this side and we'll know where to drill. So let me go and cut some alloy. Also, on this side, you couldn't see it this way, I've remembered my extra 1/4 inch to put a lip on. Right, so, cut and bent. Now the next thing to do, you see, is that fits there like that. And there I have my mark. Perfect. Right, well, I put the other rubber thing in there. I have drilled a hole. That's right up to the end there. right to the end there, and everything is touching where it should be. So that worked. Right, so the next thing I'm going to do is drill that out. I use a step drill, 3/4 inch, and somewhere, that's probably all through there on the welding table, I've got another bobbin, threaded bobbin for that to screw into. Then I'll put a petrol tap on there. I think we'll put one on both sides. It means having a T-piece somewhere, which is always a pain, because nearly all the T-pieces you buy are really, well, I've seen those plastic ones that are quite sort of small, but anyway, that's going to go there like that. So actually what I've got to decide next is, do I weld the bobbin on now, which doesn't give me much space to get in the back? That's where I was having a lot of problems. Or do I weld that on there and then weld the bobbin on? Because I'm going to weld it both sides. I really don't know. So let me mark there for petrol tank. Oh, pardon me. Getting on towards lunchtime. And then I've got to cut a piece, just as I say, just the same as the other side, so I'm not going to show you it. I'll come back when I'm completely finished. A wall, if you like, to go from there to there. And this side I thought on, look, I didn't leave a little window, I took it right back to here, so it was nice and easy to weld. And then a piece for the top. Actually, I don't think I'll need a piece there. I think this I can just fold slightly. Also, now this has all been annealed, I'll mark 1/4 inch round there. We'll bend that. Okay, but first of all, I have to go and feed myself, or I'll get all grumpy. Right, lapping in the oil pump. So here's our 2 pumps. As you can see, different size plungers. This is the return, that's the feed. So in the workshop manual, there's a section on special tools, and the tool that has 2 little pins to go in there has like a shaft at the top. And I didn't like that, because I thought with the shaft being sort of in the middle, I don't know where you're supposed to put in a drill or something, there's a chance you can wobble it and not be pressing that flat. So I made up this, right, with a nice wide top with a knurl on it, so that when I put that in there like thus, because don't forget, we're not going to do this fast. If you think about lapping in valves, you just, you know, you don't want it whizzing round or anything. We want to be doing that. So I thought, great. So as I say, I made this. When I come to look at this one, the holes are a different distance apart. Now I wanted this to be firm, so I've red Loctited them in. And I was thinking I'll have to make another one. Well, I think what I'm going to do is heat this up so I can pull these pins out, and then do another 2 pins, well, do another 2 holes opposite at the right distance for this, and then I'll just have to take the pins in and out. I mean, I wanted them to be firm like that, but once they're in both pieces, they're not going to come out. That'll be fine. So let me go and get these pins out and mark this up to put another pair of holes in. Alright, so now we have 2 pairs of holes, and I've stamped them F for feed, R for return, and that goes in there. So we're all set to go. That goes in there. Come on. And then that in there. Are my hands in the way? See, I didn't drill these holes exactly the same depth, did I? Naughty Michael. Stop guessing, start measuring. And that one was in there. Alright, so we're all set. Right, so actually it was the it's the feed one that's bad, so I would have been alright with just those 2 pins, but we're doing them both. So I put that on there. Put some rubbing compound on. And yes, don't worry, we're going to be very careful at the end to make sure we wash all of this out. Right, then that goes in. Don't want any on the sides. And as I say, with this big nerd thing, I can make sure I'm pressing down flat. Now you can hear it grinding. See, I think we'll keep the flats there. And I mean, if you had an hour with nothing to do, you could sit and watch me do this, but I don't think that's a very good idea. See, we've got a little bit there. You can see there's obviously a little indentation. There is actually an indentation in there, but anyway, let me keep going until it looks smooth. Right, I've given this a good going. You can see that it's sort of just matte. You can see it better there. How the centre bit is shiny, but all this is now matte. So that's all been rubbing nicely on there, so we're good. So let me do the other end, which is fine. It was only this end that had a little bit of, it's still got a little bit of pitting, but it's not enough to make any difference. So let me get the other done and then we can put this together. Right, so everything's been cleaned off, squirted out, everything like that, blown through. So we start at this end. When you look in this end, you'll see there's a little recess. And this, as you can see, isn't symmetrical. And also there's a collar, well, not a collar, there's a step on this end. So it goes in that way. Alright? So let's make sure we're all nicely oiled. That is going to go in there like so. Right. And this goes in there like so. And then what we do, of course, is we... There's a little drive. Remove this. Because I'm all oily now, so I can't get hold of anything. Alright, so now we've got to get that onto the pin like so, right? And the other end goes on exactly the same. Oil everywhere. And that goes on there. Put your finger on the other end so you don't push it out. Missed it. I don't know how much of this you're seeing. I've got a feeling I'm getting in the way a lot, but Then you see if you drop it, you've got to make sure you don't. These are all sort of tolerance fits. Let me see if I can wind that round till it's easier to get at. Right, he's still in shot, more or less. So now we can pull our plunger out. And there it goes. Right. And there is the drive. See, so that goes round there. Alright. Now we put the end caps on, but first let me clean my hands. In fact, let me clean my finger that presses the button on here. Right, let's see if I can do this without getting my hands in the way all the time. Okay, that's in there nicely. We know everything turns. Okay, you see that's got a depression in it. And this end's got not just a round depression, but like a big dimple. So we have a spring, like a mushroom in the end. The mushroom end goes in there. The spring goes in here. And that is to keep the body of the pump pressed against that face we just lapped in. Okay? So that we don't have, you know, don't forget we've got to keep pressure behind that because it's pumping up into one side, out through the other side. So if this was just loose, nothing would happen. So that goes on there. See, this is where my hands are going to get in the way, excuse me. Okay, so that goes on there like that. Then these are 2 BA bolts. As you may remember, I had to order some extra ones. Now, when we've got this on here, there'll be so much spring pressure on the pump, I won't be able to turn it round with this by my finger. Obviously the worm drive is such a large mechanical advantage, and you've got the engine turning it, it will turn. So don't get worried if you can't turn it. Alright, so all we do, I won't show you this because all I'm going to do is put these 4 bolts in and tighten them up. So let me do that and then put the one on the other end. Actually, I wanted to show you something to forestall comments, because I noticed that in the video, the last bit of video, it didn't look as if there were 2 holes in there. You see that? Yep. Actually, one of these, this one, was bunged up with something, and it's cleared out. Don't worry, you can blow through and everything. But I thought to myself, somebody's bound to say, wait a minute, doesn't look as if there's another hole there. Well, there is. Right, well, so the next thing we'll do is put this case on. I've already put a gasket on, greased it up. This is one of those places where the gasket really needs to have been made correctly, because we've got oil passageways that go through the gasket. Right, everything seems to be lining up. Don't worry, look, I remembered my elastic band. Oh, I haven't even tightened that up. God. Hang about, hang about. Well, I'm glad I remembered that. Can't rely on you to remind me, can I? Okay, I've cleaned the threads up. Some blue Loctite on. And now this is a left-hand thread. And I've just found out, because I was looking for it, funnily enough, it's 3/4 inch. A socket won't go on. A ring spanner will. Socket won't go over the worm gears. So we're going to put that on there. Then lock it up. Put that on good and tight. That's a piece of alloy, by the way, if you're worried about me damaging the gears. So there we go. Alright, now we can put this on. Now I've got all new tell you what, that's where's it gone? Oil can. I know you like to see me oiling everything. Whoa, the heating's come on. It's not so bad today, but we're going to get a cold spell coming in. Alright, so that goes in there. Do with an assistant to turn the engine over to mesh those gears. Just bumped into the end of the table. That again. Right, let's get some screws anyway, and then we'll make sure we're fully meshed. Now then, I've got two different lengths of nice new Allen BSFs. And of course, I don't know if you've noticed, but in which are the long ones? They're the long ones, they're the short. Do you like in the BSA workshop manuals, which give you all the bolt lengths? They make these things like, you know, instead of 1.5, it'll be 1 and 15-30 seconds. I can never understand why. So that's too long for there. That looks to be the right one for there. I think there's only a couple of long ones. Oh! You know, if that had held off another 20 seconds, I was just going to say to you, I'm not going to make you watch me put these screws in, particularly seeing as some of them I might go off and shorten. So let me switch you off and bring you back when this is tightened up. Right, so that's all tightened up. Just had a nasty moment there. I was checking to make sure that worm gear was meshed. Tightened up, went around the other side, and I've just got, you know, the primary drive sprocket, which with a cloth wrapped around it because it sticks in your hands. And I start turning, I thought, oh great, and then it got a little harder, and I thought, oh, that's the valves opening. And then I couldn't do it anymore, and I thought, bugger me, what have I done wrong? And then it suddenly struck me, I'd put the spark plug in, hadn't I? So I was just coming up to compression. So I took the spark plug out, and it turns over nicely. Now I'm not putting this in yet. There's a bit that goes in there. Hang about, hang about, hang about. Oh, where's that gone? There. That screws in there. See the hole? That's the quill feed for the end of the crankshaft. There's a little, it's tapered there, and the hole in the end of that worm gear was tapered slightly, or at least it's got a bevel in it, and that's for a little cork seal to go on, right? But I'm not putting this in yet because the hole here that feeds through there goes down into this. And I suppose I could have taken that off, filled it up and all that sort of stuff. But I was going to squirt the oil in there to fill this and squirt oil in there, so that's why that's not done. Alright, next thing to do is this, because the springs have come, or this spring, it came in a pair, we only needed one. The big springs come for the gear change, so let's do that, and then we put the little window things on, everything here. That's this side done. Right, let's put this weirdo gear change on. As I say, why they have the gear change, there's got to take motion from the gear lever here up to there and then take it back there to the forks, the selector forks. I have no idea. But anyway, I've had to have a look in the book to remember how this goes together, because it's a few days since we looked at it. Alright, so there's the big spring that I was missing. And they come in pairs, that one and the small one, so I've replaced the small one. So the first thing is, that goes on there like thus. Then that goes in there with a little spacing piece. That goes in there. With a little spacing piece. This doesn't look right, that goes on top of that spacing piece, doesn't it? That's why there's a spacing piece, to space it out. So that every job takes longer than you expect when you can't remember what you're doing. So that goes in there like that. Oops. And that one goes down there. Like that. I don't see the point in this. If that's going to tighten down on that, what's the point in having that spring? Oh! Yeah. I tell you, this is so complicated, I forget how it works every time. Unlike that, I love to read sort of mysteries and police procedurals and some Harry Bosch and all that. And 6 months after I've read one, I can go back and read it again, because I'll remember the story, but I won't remember what goes on. But I've always been like that. I think. Oh yeah, that goes in there. Alright, so the next thing is this piece. So there's the smaller spring, right? And that goes in there, so you see this piece doesn't fill the spring, that goes there. So that goes onto that spring, like that. That goes on the square bit. It's going that way. That catching them, yeah, I think that's it. Goes on there like that. Let's come off its spring there. There like that. Actually, I think I need to have put. Yeah. love Royal Enfields, but some of the things are just... For a company that made so many really clever bits on their bikes, this is not one of the clever bits. That came off something, didn't it? Yeah, that came off that. I believe that is that. Then this pin goes in that slot. Spring goes on there. Now we've got to remember how that goes again. The teeth face each other, so that goes on that. For a few, then that goes on. Must go on like that to go on those two studs. Obviously isn't right because the studs aren't sticking through. Something it's aging me prematurely is this project. Why doesn't that go on there like that? Hang on. Alright, the spacers do go on the outside. That plate doesn't have to move. It's just holding the spring and the spring can move. Oh. Alright, so tighten that up there, slotted I suppose to make a little bit of adjustment for the actual spring thing. I noticed, you see, this wouldn't go all the way on. So okay, then what? And this piece, that going in there, going on. Oh, that's why that is adjustable. It's to... Alright, now things are on a bit firmer. Okay? Let's see. Goes on like that. Where's the other plate? There it is. And that one goes on with that little piece coming through the hole. That goes on there, and then they're two very slim nuts. I don't know if you remember, but on the other one I didn't have them, so I slimmed down a couple of nuts. I know that all looks tough. Oh, hang on, where's the nut gone? That can't be it, that's a thick nut. Oh, unless there's a thin nut on this side, closer to the... Seems to be it. think, if memory serves me right, didn't I put a little bit of low Loctite on this? So maybe I should this time as well. Let me check, see if that cover goes on. Yes, that's not catching anything. Right, let me put a drop of Loctite on these. This is boring, I'm afraid. I keep saying that, but then some bits of this are boring. And as I've pointed out before, some of you like to see everything. I think most of you do, but it's not, I'll be honest, my favourite way of watching things. Anyway, there we go. Alright, all I'm going to do now is put some gasket cement on there and put the cover on, right? So I'll bring you back in a minute. Thought before I boxed it up I should check the gears. So, that's in neutral. What have we got here? One up, and that's as far as it will go. Neutral again. Second. Third. I say this is not the best gearbox in the world, the Albion. There's fourth. Fourth. I think that's neutral. They work a bit better under pressure and with some oil in there. That works. Now, you may remember I was going to try the little mod that, oh God, come on memory. Oh, our friend in Germany did. Where he connected that up to here. Can't even remember how he did it now. But anyway, I decided against doing it now. Because, quite honest, after 5 months I want to get this finished. So that might be a little video for us one time. We'll do that later on. So let me take that off there. Plus I'd forgotten and I'd ordered one of the great big levers. So let me press on. Right, you know, sometimes it amazes me I can remember my own name. It used to be very embarrassing when I'd go to business meetings and things, or functions, and I couldn't remember people's names. It was always most embarrassing. We're going to put this little cover on now. It's got a long bolt that screws right in the back one. That one's just got a little screw on it. So that goes right through. I was saying, it used to be most embarrassing when I'd be at a function and I'd sort of have two people there who I knew both of them. I couldn't remember either of them's name, but they were sort of they didn't know each other and they were standing there waiting for me to introduce them, and I'm thinking, I need to run a tap in that. That's awful. That's 2BA. And I'd be thinking, oh, go on, introduce yourself, say, oh, hello, I'm so and so, because I couldn't remember them. And the only name I keep thinking of, German, is Klaus Schultz. And of course, I know it's not Klaus Schultz. He's just my favourite person from, well, not exactly my favourite person, from Tangerine Dream. I'm a big Tangerine Dream fan, right from the first days. Now this is an eccentric that you set for the neutral lever. For those of you that don't know, there's a lever that goes on the end of this, which is why it sticks out here. It's just a short one. and it's a neutral lever. Whichever gear you're in, first, second, third or fourth, this starts to move as it doesn't come back the way a gear change lever is. You just bang it down and it goes into neutral. And this is like an eccentric to act as a stop. Well, of course we don't need that, even though I polished it up and then clear coated it, because I had forgotten that in the little kit, the blanking kit, you get a screw to go in there, look. You need a screwdriver to put it in. There you go, see? Right, so that goes on there like that. Goes on there like that, and that goes on there, and I will go and sort this thread out and screw that on. That screws on there just to blank that off, nothing more. And I mean, it doesn't really fit in tight. I noticed with the other one I probably could have made a better blanking screw myself, maybe with a little O-ring or something, but because you don't get oil on the top of this. So anyway, that goes on there. That's 2BA. Oh, I hope my 2BA tap will reach. Let me do that. Right, so fortunately the 2BA tap was a long one, it reached right in, so that went on nicely. All that's on. Put these on because the bolts for these, being as how they're for a modern, well, a Madras produced engine, although the design's the same, a lot of these things, these are metric bolts. And as you know, I tend to do that. Like I've done with this, all the ones that were BSC that screwed into the cases, I made double-ended studs so that they were BSC to screw in, but BSF at this end, so I'd have plenty of nuts. All right, that's folded forward. It's actually, that's where the detent is, which surprises me. It's not there. It's there. And I want it there, out of the way of my leg. And, hang on, can we see? Yes. As you can see, the spring works. Nice and clear. Although actually, I've noticed on my other Enfield, this is so easy to start. You've only got to give it a little push like that, and it'll start. So anyway, oh, got to put the proper bolts in there. That, can I pull you back anymore? No. Hang on. Right, that is this side all finished, and I've recovered from my little temper tantrums over the tank. So what we're going to do now, let's see, I'm going to move you again, is we're going to put this lip on here, the one that the shell will weld to. So I've actually cut and annealed some, I made it 3/8, some 3/8 strips, so let's get that welded on there. I've done the taps, everything's ready, get that done, and then that'll be it for this week, and next week we'll start on making this top skin. So let me go and get this welded up. Alright then, put the skirt on, goes all the way around, okay, went mad with the welding inside, look, don't know what came over me. Anyway, excuse my hat. And there she is. I think what I'm going to do, see this is going to curve to there, is I might weld a piece on here like that. The tank won't come round to there, because if I'm trying to make it come round to there, then I get back to this thing where I have a different curve here to there. They're trying to come to a corner, which they can't do. But rather than just have that there, I'll see where I feel like. It just doesn't look right. I wish I'd made this longer. I think I had extra. Anyway, it's all on, goes on nicely round there. So when I put the skin on now, you see, the skin's there. I've got the two edges will be together, and I can weld them up nicely. So that's that. Alright, that's it for this week. Next week we're going to start on the skin. Now this tank is actually being done differently in about 3 ways. First way that you see here, we didn't make the tunnel and floor in one piece. Secondly, we're not going to use a wooden book. As I've said before, the book is just to check, it's just a shape to see how the pieces you're making fit on right. And I've noticed as I've watched a lot of the sort of top level people don't use wooden books, they use like a wire frame. Now because they're using bigger panels, I think they use 1/4 inch rod. Don't think I need that, so I've got about 12 feet of 1/8 inch rod. So we'll decide what the shape's going to be next week. Then we'll bend a piece of rod that's going to go like that. We'll bend pieces of rod for this edge here, and then we'll make sort of ribs. So I'll decide how I want it, make one, make an identical one, and then they'll get tack welded all the way along, so we'll have the complete shape. Then as I batter the thing, I can try it on there. The third thing is my friend Dick, you know, the purveyor of dust coats, he's building himself a new trials bike. He's doing it the right way. He's going from a heavier bike to a lighter bike instead of me going from a light bike to a heavier bike as I get older. But he's built himself a planishing hammer / English wheel. So he's built the frame up, which takes a pneumatic planishing hammer, but he's got it so that he can take that off, and this nice big strong frame he's built will take the bits for an English wheel. And he just phoned me up the other day and said, wow, what a difference it made to smoothing out all the bumps from when you form this. So what we're going to do is, when we've got it all roughed out, we'll go down to Dick's, take the book and everything with us, and we'll use his English wheel to smooth this out. Alright, so anyway, as I say, that's it for now. So we've got a mass of snow, probably going to go out on the tractor for a couple of hours. So until next week, stay safe and enjoy yourselves.